So let's move over to soccer. We're going to talk Wrexham real quick. Normally that's Tyler's thing, but I do want to keep you guys updated. They take the L 2-0 at Reading on Tuesday. But then they come back. They beat Wycombe on Saturday 1-0. And with that win against Wycombe, they leap in front of Wycombe. They are now second place in EFL League One. And the top two get automatic promotion. So this is where Wrexham wants to be, right? You got the next game is against Stockport. Stockport is right around uh they're in the top half of the league. They're the old friends from the National League that got promoted the year before Wrexham did. So they're fighting their way, like trying to get up to the championship as well, but they're not quite going to get it done this year. But Wrexham still could. So that's what we want to see the back to back to back. It's a chance at history, right? So you get the win at Stockport this coming week. That really goes a long way, especially because it's at home. Uh, Paul Mullen still hasn't been playing though, which is interesting. They've been relying on other players. There's actually articles like on the Athletic specifically talking about maybe Paul Mullins doesn't get the Hollywood exit, the Hollywood ending. Uh, so we don't know. Maybe something's brewing there. We'll see. We'll see if Wrexham gets promoted first, and
Right.
if they do get promoted, is Paul Mullins somebody that they try to move in the summer transfer window. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so I did something a little new with the graphics. If you're watching on YouTube, I actually put the I got the logo like I normally do, but then I also put, because soccer only needs, just the one, the one, maybe two games. I did put the expected goals and just like the cards and stuff like that too. So you can see that in that game against Reading, they it they probably should have been a 1-1 draw. Reading was a little bit more fortunate. They were expected to get 1.48 goals. They ended up getting two. Wrexham got none on 1.35 expected goals. So a little bit unlucky. And they Reading also finished the last 15 minutes of the game on a red card. So Wrexham certainly had the opportunity to make some noise, but didn't quite work out. Then you look at the Wycombe game. That one, Wrexham was under half a goal expected. They ended up winning 1-0 off a 78th minute goal by Smith. Wycombe was expected to get three-quarters of a goal, so it should have probably been a 1-1 draw, maybe a 1-0 win for Wycombe if you look at expected goals. And that's sort of a more advanced stat that they're starting to use now. So kind of look at that going forward. And it's just that's one of the easier ones to kind of help you paint the picture a little bit about how the game really went. Because sometimes you just get lucky, a lucky break. And we'll talk about that lucky break in our the next thing we talk about, which is Bay FC.
So with
Uh,
Vince, let me talk.
yeah,
I don't know how this off the cuff question, but like
yeah,
with Wrexham, we know about this. We know the story of them like going up each league. Like every year, it's been an annual thing. And they're doing it where they got some good players. You referenced Paul Mullen. Um, is this coaching? Is this because it's not like every few years you hear about a soccer club, moving up the charts like this. So this is kind of a,
yeah.
I don't want to say it's a one-off, but it doesn't
It's a
happen
little
all the
bit,
time.
and it definitely does not happen at this level. I can see it happening. There's like 9 tiers of soccer in England. So like it's definitely possible for a team to go like if you're like in the bottom tier and you just happen to put together a really good team, you could jump from 9 to 8 to 7, to maybe even sneak into the sixth tier in like successive years. So that is possible, at the lower tiers. I don't know of any time that it's happened, but also those are all considered semi-professional tiers. Anything below fourth tier is considered semi-pro. It's not real like professional level. So you're not going to find much tracking on that. For it to happen from from fifth tier to four to three, and then fighting possibly getting up to the second tier, it's more than just coaching. It is coaching is part of it for sure. It's also players, it's also ownership, and it's also like so that's basically what we're seeing is owners come in, new owners came in willing to spend some money, willing to put some, cachet behind it, behind the entire project, wanting to see this team do well, and they have buy-in from the fans as well is the other thing, because the moves that they have made have by and large worked out. um so that's the other bonus part is you get a lot of a longer leash when things are going well, right? And that's kind of where it comes down to, is it comes down to ownership, getting the right coach that can push the right buttons. uh Wrexham is still winning a lot of these games even without Paul Mullen. So
Right.
maybe in the long term, Paul Mullen's extension through 2027 that he signed after the prior season, maybe that ends up being not a good thing. Maybe they're able to move out of it if they need to. Maybe Paul Mullen comes back and finds his time again and is back scoring and everything's all honky dory. Everything's great. Who knows? We don't know what the future holds necessarily. But because they've had so few missteps, um, the owners are spending money and they're spending it well, is what it really comes down to. They're spending on the coach. They got Phil Parkinson. When they hired him, like, he had coached at the Premiership, before. So he's been with them basically with this ownership group. So that's really what it comes down to. Is
Yeah, the coach knows what it looks like, knows what it smells like. He's been there, done that, and,
mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see come together. Unfortunately, I can't see a lot of the games. I only see, like, little clips and,
Yeah,
episodic things from the show, but, it's been hell of a ride to watch over the past few years, so
yeah, yeah. I mean, we have experience with bad owners. It's kind of nice to see what good owners could do.
absolutely.
Uh, so let's now switch gears to Bay FC. Let's come back home. The season has started, and they get the draw at Utah 1-1. That was on Saturday. So the way this worked, this is actually Utah and Bay FC both came into the league last season together. They're both expansion teams. Utah actually beat Bay FC both games last season. So this year, to get a draw out of them, that's the first time they've taken points against Utah. So that's actually kind of huge. Utah is a team that is also improved over last year, so they should be challenging for a playoff spot. Bay FC was able to make the playoffs last year. They hope to make some noise in the playoffs. So both teams are, they're new. They're on their trajectory is up. Okay, so now to the game itself. In the 12th minute, Utah got their first goal. Goalkeeper Mandy McLean, off of a set piece in Utah's own zone, she sends the ball deep to Bianca St. George, who then finishes the goal past the keeper. Nothing Silkowitz could really do about that one. In the 36th minute, Rachel Kundananji got a yellow card for a couple of over aggressive plays. Basically, she kept stepping on Utah players' feet, and soccer players don't like their feet getting stomped on. Who would have thought? Rachel Kundananji is a really she's a physical player. She really likes to get in there, and she kind of extends the elbows a little bit and gets caught sometimes. She goes after the ball, and sometimes she misses and catches a foot. It happens. Not the end of the world, but also you don't like to see too many yellow cards. So hopefully, she keeps it just on this side of the line. We don't want her stepping over too much. Bay FC did get the tying goal in the 44th minute. So what happened was there was a set play in Bay FC attacking zone. The ball was sent in toward the goal, toward the 18-yard box line. Joelle Anderson receives the ball. She drops it full, with her back to net. She drops it back to about 24, 25 yards. And then Kiki Pickett with a laser beam from about 25 yards out, beats the goalie. Nothing Mandy McGlynn could do about that one either. And it was off of the crossbar. Probably going to get goal of the week, man. It was beautiful. If you have the opportunity, go on to Blue Sky and watch it, man, because that was wild. Um, so that was how the scoring happened. And when you the rest of the league at large, you had three wins. Orlando got a big blowout win. Uh, Washington looked good, and Kansas City got a win, I believe, too. But like everybody else, like 4 games, 1-1 draws. So basically, Bay FC is kind of after one game, they're tied for fourth in the league because there's 8 teams tied for fourth because 8 teams played to a 1-1 draw. So early season fun statistics like that. We used to talk about how in baseball you'd see guys with, like batting 666 or whatever, and then 2 days later they're batting 400, and then another day later they're batting 583. Because early in the year you can have
Yeah.
crazy things like that. It's kind of the same thing that's happening with the standings in the league. I'm not going to worry too much about the standings this early in the season. There is still 25 games left to go. So their next match is at home against Racing Louisville. That is on Saturday. Uh, and that's games at 7 p.m. So gonna be excited to catch the stats on that one because I'll be in Disneyland, won't be able to watch that one. So I'll have to watch the playback later. Um,
Hey, Vince, did you
yeah,
see the graphics coming out, the renderings for Bay FC's,
I
um,
did. Yeah,
home
the new
office and
the
training
training
facility?
training facility on Treasure Island. Yeah,
Oh my god.
looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, yeah. The only issue I can see, at least right now, I don't know how they'll solve it, is getting there. So either you'll have team housing on site at Treasure Island, or you'd have to have either they'd have to pay San Francisco rent pricing, or they'll have to live in Oakland or what, or across the bridge and pay the bridge toll every day to get to work, to get to training. So I mean, other people do it all the time. Athletes can do it too. Sure, no problem.
There's a
Get that.
ton of
But yeah,
housing being built there too. I think they're
that's
building
true.
a
Yeah.
giant skyscraper with 20,000 apartments in there. So I just think it's really cool that finally
Oh,
something is gonna happen to Treasure Island because my entire lifetime it's been a abandoned
yeah,
nothing
Ben and
burger.
yeah, yeah. It's just been there,
So finally
doing
it's
nothing.
something. So very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. One more BFC note: the captains were named for this season. You have Abby Dahlkemper and Tess Bodie. Abby wore the armband in the first game of the season, and I would foresee that Abby would probably be the person wearing the armband most of the time. Tess will get an armband here or there, especially if Abby has to step out of the game. But I think they're both excellent choices. Obviously, Abby Dahlkemper, former U.S. Women's National Team defender, and Tess Bodie actually wore the armband probably like 3 or 4 times last season, uh, before Emily Menges ended up holding on to it for the rest of the year. So she's kind of in that leadership core already, and she was kind of an underutilized player when she was at North Carolina Courage. So she's not only got a chance last year to show what she's got, she's also she kind of became the straw that stirs the drink a little bit. Abby Dahlkemper on defense, and then Tess in the midfield, and then kind of attacking as a forward occasionally too. So really excited for that. One last NWSL note: Boss Nation FC is officially ditching that stupid ass name, and so they're going to unveil a new name in a few weeks. The rollout was terrible. The name needed way too much explanation. It's actually an anagram of Bostonian, but you had to keep saying that, and it's like that's stupid. No, stop it. So, and nobody liked the name anyway. So there's going to be a new name. They're actually listening to the fans that are going to attend these games. Um, they're also still trying to work out. They have a location in mind for their home games. There's still some stuff to work out with the city to get that finalized, but hopefully they have a name that doesn't suck. I'm hoping for Boston Breakers because that was the name of the team before in a couple of different iterations. I'm hoping they can acquire the name. They couldn't do it before because there was like whoever owned the name uh didn't want to give it up. I'm hoping that they can work out some deal to make it happen, man, cuz I think Boston Breakers is a much better name than Boss Nation FC. So
Boss Nation.
Boss Nation is done. Never again.
Oh
So
my god.
so you got two expansion teams coming in 2026 in Boston and in Denver. Both of them don't have names yet. Officially, both of them don't have names yet. They're working on that. So I would expect probably by midseason they'd have the names announced. Maybe even sooner. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long because you want to start getting attention. You want to start hyping it up. You want to have start getting season tickets